Buongiorno e benvenuti. My name is Giovanna and I welcome you to my kitchen on the cliff. Today is a very special day. November 3rd is a day when our family celebrates the birth of one of our favorite composers, Vincenzo Bellini. I am from Sicily, and Vincenzo Bellini was also born in Sicily, in the city of Catania. He was born on November 3rd, 1801, and unbelievably, between 1825 and 1835, so he started when he was 24 years old, he wrote 10 operas. By the way, this is my little portrait of Vincenzo Bellini that my father, who was a lover of classical music, but particularly a lover of Bellini, gave me when I was 8 years old. Since I was 8 years old, I moved to the United States. I moved to the Bronx, then I moved to Manhattan, then I moved to Teaneck, New Jersey, and now here we are on the cliff. And this little portrait has never left me. So today we're going to make pasta alla norma, which is a quintessentially Sicilian dish named for the opera Norma of Vincenzo Bellini. We're going to start with the eggplants. Eggplants, of course, are the major ingredient in this. But with it, we're going to make a sauce. It's not made with herbs, it's made with spices. And that's what makes it so delicious and so different from all other sauces you've had. The spices that we're going to use are cloves, finocchio, crushed red pepper, nutmeg, allspice, and sugar. Wow, is that a combination? The reason why the sauce is so interesting and so delicious is that, we taste different things with different parts of our mouth. As you eat this, you're going to taste the fennel, you're going to taste the allspice, you're going to have a little bit of the flavor of the cloves, and you're going to get a little bit of hot from the red peppers. And when you combine all that, you have a symphony, a real symphony of tastes. We're going to start by trimming the eggplant. There's no need to ever peel an eggplant because the skin is edible. However, since we don't want the first slice to be all skin, we will take off 2 strips, 1 and 2. And we'll do the same thing in the back of this eggplant. So now we place this on our cutting board and we're going to make about 1/2-inch slices. When the eggplant gets to be kind of unbalanced and difficult to cut, just put it down and make a horizontal cut. Very easy. Do it slowly. We take 3 slices of eggplant. Don't worry about the amount of salt you're using on this. Remember that salt drains juices from everything that touches it. So if you want to drain any vegetable that you're cooking, you just put some salt. That will drain all the bitter juices that the eggplant holds. This will be washed away, so don't worry about the amount of salt. Now we're going to cover it with a cutting board, and we're going to top it with a kettle filled with water, a very heavy object. So while the eggplant is draining, we're going to make the sauce. So the onion has been cleaned and rinsed. We're going to make parallel cuts. And now we cut crosswise and we have chopped onion. Now you take the whole cutting board to your pot and we start the sauce. We're going to pour 1/4 cup of olive oil. 1/4 cup kind of covers the bottom of the pan. So we're going to turn the heat on. When you see the oil beginning to shimmer, you know that it's hot. When you smell it, you're sure that it's hot. We're going to take the chopped onion and we're going to lower the heat. By the way, this sauce does not have garlic. In general, we don't mix onion or garlic. You use one or the other. In this case, what we want is the sauce to be sweet. The onion, of course, sweetens the dishes that you put it in. Just when you begin to see coloring, you add the tomatoes. We have 1/4 of a can of water, and we let it come to the boil. We're also going to use capers, another very, very Sicilian product. I'm going to use a tablespoonful. The capers that I use are always packed in salt. Please don't buy capers packed in brine or, heaven forbid, in vinegar, because they will alter the taste of your dish. Now I'm going to wash off the salt. Sauce is boiling, so we're going to do a little bit of crushing of the tomatoes. We're going to add our capers. I would say a teaspoonful of salt, and now we add everything else. 1/2 teaspoon of allspice, 1/2 teaspoon of nutmeg, a lot of nutmeg. Nutmeg is wonderful. 1/4 teaspoon of cloves, half the amount of the other spices because this is a very prominent spice. We're going to put 1/2 teaspoon of red pepper flakes. This, of course, is to taste. Now we add a tablespoonful of sugar, and lastly, a tablespoonful of fennel seeds. This sauce has no meat, therefore it doesn't cook a long time. Don't think that every Italian sauce cooks for 3.5 hours. So this is going to cook 1/2 hour. The sauce is done, smells wonderful. It's thickened, so we put it to the back of the stove. We cover it again until we're ready to use it. The eggplant is drained for an hour, so let's see what came out of the eggplant. See all that brown water? So now we're going to rinse the eggplant, so we're putting it into a bowl of clean water, cool water, and then we're going to drain it on paper towels and fry it. We're going to fry the eggplant in canola oil. In Italy, we don't dip the eggplant into egg or into breadcrumbs or flour. We fry it exactly the way you see it, with no coating of any kind. That is the way that you really taste the eggplant, because if you coat it, you're tasting the coating more than you're tasting the eggplant. The eggplant is done. I'm putting up a pot of water to boil for the pasta. The pasta that we use is either bucatini or perciatelli. Both are spaghetti with a hole. They're like straws. Of course, you can use cut pasta as well. You can use anything you like, but we like to do it with perciatelli. Now, after the pasta water comes to a boil, you add salt. If you add salt before it comes to a boil, it takes longer to boil. By the way, no oil in the water. That's a commandment. What that does is it keeps the pasta from absorbing the sauce you're going to put on it. This will really absorb that sauce. So we cook the pasta for 9 minutes, and we're adding 1 minute to absorb the sauce. Now we're going to do the presentation of this lovely dish, because if something is presented well, it adds 1,000% to the taste and flavor and everything. We're going to choose the most beautiful slices of eggplant, and we're going to place them on our serving platter. I'm using the edge of the platter to measure. Now we're going to take all that's left over. We're going to cut it up, and we're going to add it either to the sauce if you haven't put it in the pasta yet, or to the pasta, doesn't matter. And now we're going to place this very well-seasoned pasta onto the platters. We are going to finish it with ricotta salata. This is a ricotta which has been dried and salted and pressed so that you can grate it the way you do cheese. This is called una pioggia di formaggio, a shower of cheese. So this is pasta alla Norma. We have a vegan version that lacks cheese. This is the classic pasta alla Norma, which is finished with ricotta salata. So with this dish, we celebrate Vincenzo Bellini, one of our great composers. As always, you will find the recipe for pasta alla Norma in the description box just below the video. If you enjoyed this, make pasta alla Norma. Take pictures and send them to your friends and put them on Facebook. If you like the video, please subscribe and pass it on. Thank you for watching. Alla prossima volta. Ciao!